Welcome to the Drivers' Press Conference ahead of the 2019 Russian Grand Prix. Joining us today from left to right, we have Lance Stroll, Kimi Räikkönen, Daniel Kvyat, Valtteri Bottas and Kevin Magnussen. Danny, if we could start with you, please. Home race, tell us about the build-up. How busy have you been?
Well, yeah, not too busy. It's a back-to-back race in Singapore, so pretty much arrived to Moscow for one day, get a little break, then here on Wednesday had a bit of an events yesterday evening, usual stuff at the home Grand Prix, and yeah, today just a bit busier than usual, but it's always a pleasure for your home Grand Prix, so it's okay.
Tell us about the reception you got from the fans when you arrived here in Sochi.
Well, I haven't seen too many fans yet, but I will see tonight at the autograph session, but yes, I was doing track walk, and a few people, definitely were quite excited. And I think people love Formula One here, and it's quite good to see for me that I hope to see a lot of people on the grandstands here on Sunday and Saturday. It would mean a lot to me, and it would mean also that the autosport in Russia is growing a lot, and obviously I'm happy to contribute.
Now, you said after the Singapore Grand Prix that you struggled with the car. What were the issues, and how confident are you that you can bounce back here this weekend?
It was a specific Grand Prix. I mean, I wouldn't really say I struggled with the car, but I skipped FP3. Then in quali, going straight into Q1, just maybe didn't put the best lap in because I didn't have much reference. Then once you start from there, it's harder on the street circuit, and then the race was a bit messy. Some moves, I was getting a bit stuck behind people when I had fresher tires. This year usually was good for me. Then in Singapore maybe wasn't as good. But my mirrors were foggy, so I couldn't really fight with people properly. And then the race was just difficult, to be honest. We had contact with Kimi, but it was at that point my race already wasn't looking very good. So, but I was still in contention for maybe a point. But yeah, it was a difficult race all in all, and they sometimes happen, and sometimes they're necessary.
Okay. Thanks, Danny. Good luck this weekend. Lance, if we could come on to you, please. Big update package for Racing Point in Singapore. How effective was it?
Yeah, I mean, it's still early days. I think on paper it looked quite positive. We were quite competitive throughout the weekend. Qualifying was a struggle on my part with gaps and stuff in Q1. So we had a bad qualifying on Saturday, but then in the race the pace looked better. We were, it was just a messy weekend all in all for both cars. Sergio had a technical issue in the race, so he had to stop, and I was looking good up until I clipped the wall on my second stint, and I got a puncture. So it was a messy weekend, but I think there's still a lot to come, and early signs are good with the upgrade. Things are looking positive, but it's about really unlocking it to its full potential.
You say the early signs are good. Where is the car better with this upgrade?
I think just general grip, rear grip is much better, stability is better, and now it's just about getting the right balance with this new upgrade, and that sometimes takes a weekend. And Singapore is a unique circuit. It's it's one of a kind. So I'm looking forward to this weekend and the coming events.
Now, you've been involved in some great on-track battles this year. Tremendous last lap in Singapore with Ricardo Sainz and Grosjean. How much are you enjoying those battles?
Yeah, it's always fun. Unfortunately, we were at that stage in the race. We weren't in a position to score points. So. It's always fun though. Wheel-to-wheel racing is always good, and this year in the midfield it's so tight. We've seen a lot of good fights and close racing in the midfield. So I'm sure it's very exciting for the fans. But unfortunately our race was kind of done at that stage. It was really it was really done after we had a puncture, and after I clipped the wall and we got that puncture. But at least it was exciting, and I'm sure it was a lot of fun to watch from the outside.
Thank you, Lance. Good luck this weekend. Kevin, if I could come to you now, please. You have a great record here. Qualified fifth last year, lots of points finishes at this racetrack. Can you talk to us about the track? What is it like to drive, and what do you need from your car to be quick?
I would say it's a little bit kind of specific track. Lots of medium speed corners, like 90 degrees. I'd say you need a good strong front end here, but as always you need good traction as well. So it's not that you need much different car to usual, but it's I think a pretty good track. Decent to drive and offers good opportunity for racing and overtaking. So kind of I quite like it.
Now, on the subject of car performance, are you starting to make progress with your car? Do you understand the car now?
I think it's a pretty ongoing process, and I think it's much more important to understand what's gone wrong with this car than to try and come up with quick fixes, because I think it's not lost this year at all, but it's it's better to focus for next year and try and get as ready as we can, and have as much confidence in correlations and stuff like that to produce a better product for next year, rather than desperate way try to fix this year's car, because I think that's probably going to be a little bit difficult. So the focus is more on different experiments with different packages to try and learn more about correlations and sensitivities and stuff like that. So it's a little bit frustrating, because obviously we'd all prefer to just be maximum, flat out trying to perform the best we can, which of course we are, but at the same time we are spending a lot of energy on experiments.
You mentioned the word package there. What package are you going to be driving this weekend?
The new one, and that's still part of this whole learning process. So Roman, I think, will stay on the old-ish with a few of the new parts. We've gone to like a bit of a hybrid car to try and make it possible to swap over and swap between different parts to, as I say, experiment as much as possible and get as much learning as we can. So I think that part is going well, and I think we are making progress in terms of understanding, but we don't see that understanding in terms of lap time. So sometimes it's hard to show in terms of lap time what progress we're making.
Thank you, Kevin. Good luck with that. Kimi, if I could come to you now, please. Frustrating race for you in Singapore. Different kind of street track here with longer straights. How confident are you of having a better weekend?
Never know really, but I think it should be better for us. Hopefully it is. I think Singapore, some points it felt pretty okay, mainly not, but I think maybe our car is not the best over the bumps and things that you need for Singapore, but let's see how it comes, but would expect to be a bit better here.
Better because of the smooth track surface, or better because of the Ferrari power unit? Why do you think it's better?
Just track layout and how the surface is and everything, but I might be wrong as well, hopefully not, but hopefully we have a bit more smoother weekend and a bit more speed, so
Now, Kimi, this is a bit of a landmark race for you. It's race number 307, which takes you to third overall in the most experienced list. You're surpassing Schumacher and Jenson Button this weekend. When you started out in 2001, did you ever imagine that you'd be around for this long?
Definitely not. I think I was wishing to stop much earlier. I kind of stopped it already, but no, for sure not. I don't think I have any ideas how long. Hopefully at least 1 or 2 years, but things has turned to be different. But I didn't really have a plan before, so I still don't. So we'll try to do good things, and as long as we enjoy it, and obviously we'll keep racing and see what happens.
Given the competitive nature of this sport, do you take a lot of pride in your longevity?
Not really. I mean, to me, as long as I feel myself that I can drive where I expect to be, and I can do things as I in my head I feel I should, then I'm happy to keep going. And plus, as long as the racing is the bigger part than all the other nonsense. But yeah, I don't really think that, oh, I've done this much racing and this great thing. For me, the results are much more important than any other fact. Maybe a day you stop, and after a while when you look backwards it means something, but right now not.
Okay. Thank you, Kimi. Good luck this weekend. Valtteri, thank you for waiting. Coming to you now. Now, you have a great record here. First win, 2017. Pole last year, looking good for the win until that didn't happen. Why are you so quick here? And how much confidence does your record give you coming into the weekend?
Yeah, for sure it gives confidence to come into a weekend when you know previously it's been one of the good tracks for you. So that's obviously a nicer way to start a weekend, but in every case, always you start from zero. You know, every season, every track changes a little bit. Every car is always different every year. So, you know, setup, everything is different. So you're starting from zero, but for sure with a good mindset coming here, knowing that it's been good in the past. And I don't know, just from since the first year coming here, found a good flow on the track, and haven't really had many kind of problematic corners or anything, so being on the pace. But obviously there's always things I can do better this year than I did last year, and that will be the aim.
You say you're coming here with a good mindset, but there must have been, tell me if I'm wrong, frustrations after being told by the team to effectively hold station in Singapore last weekend during the race. What's been said since then?
Well, that first of all, that was last weekend. I'm not thinking about that anymore coming to this weekend. But if you want to talk about it, I can't go into details. Obviously, we always review everything by the finest detail with the team. And I was at the factory on Tuesday. We had meetings about that, and that will keep, you know, just for us, whatever we've spoken about it. But yeah, we have certain rules, you know, both ways. They're equal. That's how it goes, but just need to make sure I'm not going to be in that kind of situation again.
Okay. Thank you, Valtteri. Good luck this weekend. Let's open this to the floor now. Please remember to give your name and publication. First question, please.
François l'équipe, question to Daniel. You have, since Spa, a new teammate. You live the same thing as he lived, being demoted from Red Bull to Toro Rosso. How long did it take to you to get back to competitive net, and how did you work on that special thing?
I think it's hard to compare. You know, everyone has their own life situations and their own approach to the things. So for me, it's very hard to compare. I mean, for me, that's turned page already, and I've been through it. Have no problems with that anymore. So I even managed to go out and come back again to Red Bull. So we have no issues regarding that. And from my side, I have full focus, you know, on this year and on the future. So for me now, it's close the chapter.
Thank you. Next one, please.
Behind you on the floor.
Beatrice Zamuner Motorlat, Valtteri, now that Max and Charles are getting closer to you, they are now 31 points behind you. To what extent do you see them as threats for second place?
Well, for sure, you know, Ferrari has been improving a lot. Even Red Bull is very close every weekend now, and depending on the track layout. So it's still a big chunk of points to be had for the rest of the year. So for sure need to keep performing, and we need to perform as a team to get those bigger points. I'm still aiming and focusing really ahead, focusing on short-term goals. Next one is this weekend, try to win the race. Then at the end of the year we'll see if there's still a threat or what's happening. I'm not really thinking about that too much. I'm thinking about my performance and our performance as a team.
Thank you. Next one.
Justina Glopoulos of the Paddock magazine. Next year, the racing calendar is expanding, and by 2021, predict even more stages. What do you think about this trend? And will not lose stages their value due to the increase? This question to all drivers.
Okay, the calendar extension. Who would like to start? Kevin, let's start your end first.
I think it's a difficult question for me. It's obviously the biggest problem probably is the team, the mechanics, all those guys are working very hard already, so it would be pretty tough for a lot of people in the team. And I don't know if it's gonna make it less valuable each race in terms of viewers and all that sort of stuff. Probably can see why it would, but it's not a area I'm an expert, so don't really know.
Valtteri.
Yeah, I think still, if it's just one more next year, it's not too bad. Obviously, it is, like Kevin said, hard work for many of the team members, doing so much work between the races as well, and there's going to be a limit for sure at some point. I don't know in detail after how many races that would come, but I think we can still do one more. But obviously, yeah, we'll see. It's okay so far.
Yeah, I don't have much to say. I agree with these guys. It's true. It wasn't bad when it was 18 races, but let's see how it goes when the championship goes to more races. For sure, we'll have to find the limit by touching it. So,
Kimi?
Nothing, no comments.
Do you welcome more races yourself? We understand the pressures on the team, but from a driving point of view, do you welcome more?
I don't know. I mean, it depends really where we go. If we race in Europe, I don't mind, but it's obviously much easier for everybody. But obviously, it's nice to race on new tracks, hoping that they're good ones for racing. But we'll see. Usually, it's a habit to keep changing races, and some come and some go, and never know really until we get there. So.
You and Lance.
Yeah, I mean, more than 22 races is probably a lot. It's a lot for the whole team. But from what I understood, it's balanced out with some testing days, so it's nicer to be racing than testing.
Thank you. Next one.
Question to Daniel from Vladimir Zaev, RussianRT.com. Daily Mail, according to Daily Mail, Russian President Vladimir Putin backs plan for F1 race to move from Sochi to St. Petersburg. What do you think about this?
Yeah, I think as long as there is a race in Russia, I'm all up for it. Maybe it's not a bad idea to have it closer to that region also, where there is it's more accessible to the people from Moscow, from St. Petersburg. Maybe it will bring more spectators, which is cool, and maybe also from Europe, from Finland, let's say. It's very popular sport there. It would be cool, why not? It's not a bad idea. Here is very nice, but who knows if there it could be even better. Why not?
Fan coming from Finland, perhaps comment from one of you guys, Valtteri?
Yeah, for sure. Could maybe have some more. Obviously, Finnish Grand Prix would be nice as well, but yeah, maybe more Finns will be there, possibly.
Kemi, what about a race in St. Petersburg from your point of view?
We go wherever the race is, so I don't know. I would guess that there's Finns. I'm sure here even watching, but it's a lot easier for sure.
Thank you. Next one, please.
Daria Panova, Motorlot. Question to all drivers. At Singapore Grand Prix, Lewis Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel said that reverse grid is not a good idea for Formula One. So what do you guys think about it?
Well, we started with Kevin last time. Why don't we start with Lance this time? Reverse grids.
Yeah, I think it would be it would be a shame to see the current format disappear. You know, it's very exciting. The fans love it. You know, and especially today's Formula One. You know, short 25-lap race would be really boring to watch, in my opinion. You know, today's Formula One races depended on strategy, which a 25-lap race wouldn't really offer. So I think it would just be train from start to finish, and that would take away some of the excitement from the sport.
Kimi.
Yeah, I think it depends on obviously how they would do it, but probably qualifying can be more exciting than short race. So who knows?
Do you like the current qualifying format?
Yeah, I mean, if I would change, I would go back to where it was when we started 1 hour time, and I think there was 3 set of tires and 12 laps, and do it when you want those. And yeah, over the years there's been many different ways of doing it. I don't know if it really changed the end result of a lot. So yeah, we'll see.
Thank you, Danny.
Yeah, well, it sounds just like a short fix to the bigger problem, which is just we need to try and bring all the teams closer, competition-wise. Like there's still big gap between top 3 teams and the rest of the field. And if we could have 5 or 6 teams competing for a podium and a win, I think it would be just a lot more exciting racing as well. Which is now this year was many exciting races, of course, but I still think that's the main issue. And if it's a short-term fix, these races, then so be it. We will have to do it, of course, but I think the bigger picture needs to be sorted more than that.
Valtteri.
Not a big fan myself personally about the reverse grid idea. I think it would be a real shame to lose proper qualifying. You know, I think all the drivers really enjoy pushing the car to the limit for that 1 lap in qualifying. I find it very enjoyable. So would be a shame.
Thank you. Kevin.
Yeah, I agree. You know, I think as Danny said, we need to try and fix the problem organically by making the competition more close. And I also think that qualifying is a fantastic event. So I think it's a bad idea.
Thank you all. Next one. No, that's all we've got time for. Okay. Good luck this weekend, gentlemen, and a full transcript of this press conference will be available shortly at FIA.com.